Yeah, and I mean, a testament to anybody can do it because, again, I'm supposed to be on LSD and
Playing bagpipes.
traveling between colleges right now. Like that's where I should have been. And if I could do it, anybody can really do it. So yeah,
It just takes hard work, man.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
it's really a simple formula. You just have to like work really hard.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta work really hard, but you gotta also not give up. Because it's a fact of when things get hard, you want to just like, I'm over this. Like, let's quit. But
Yeah.
And then you find yourself 20 years down the line, and you're like, oh shit, I'm still doing this. Like, how did I get here? It's pretty wild. It's the never give up attitude for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the trajectory of the business, it's like, it's some sort of line that goes in the up position and making more money.
Yep.
But if you look at each month, I mean, it fluctuates a lot, and there's a lot of wins and there's a lot of losses.
Yeah.
But if you just keep pushing it and you really are focused and, have discipline, then, I think anybody can be at least as successful as I am. So.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces.
Is that a royalty-free song?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We bought it. Don't worry. We bought it.
Just
Don't
making
worry.
sure.
Speaking of IT guy over here, jeez, I love it.
It is until they realize we're using it.
Yeah, and then until we get a bill, but it's fine. It goes to Gibson.
Get
It's
an
fine.
email. Yeah.
Exactly. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Lambo and Leroy Show. Super stoked to be back. If you haven't yet, we did start an Instagram for Lambo and Leroy Show. It's just at Lambo and Leroy. So don't forget to follow it. We're posting a bunch of reels on there and content. So keeps you hyped up for our weekly drops every Thursday. We got a new episode.
Yeah.
Well, almost every Thursday. Sometimes we're off a little bit.
Yeah, we do our best.
We do our best.
But on the Instagram, if you have any questions, message us. Send it any guest, tag them.
Yeah,
let us
seriously.
know, help us grow this thing. We've got room for cool new people, and we have a huge list of awesome people coming too.
We got a huge list of an awesome person today.
Oh yeah, a huge list of
Come on.
this person. I mean, so most people don't realize how important this person is until it's too late, right? And I mean, he's gonna downplay himself the entire time. I mean, he's really the coolest nerd that I know, right?
Hey, okay. I'd agree. I can agree on that.
And I mean, we were joking, I would say he's like the CIA or the Homeland Security of your business, right? He's got your back. And Joel, Linity Tech, I mean, he's out there just making sure we don't get screwed up. And if we do get screwed up, we're going to fix it. He also lets you know when your servers are really old and you need to replace them.
Need updates.
But basically when you're running through your business, you don't sit there and you think about all the potential attacks and everything you get from the outside and your equipment and your update on Windows or whatever they want you to do. And it'll catch you off guard because really that's, most business owners, they don't think about that. It's literally just a tool. It's a machine, right?
Yeah.
But it's such a massive machine now. You got someone like Joel and his team and they've got your back and you can kind of sleep well at night knowing that. So Joel, tell us a little bit about Linity Tech and introduce yourself. And then we're going to go ahead and hit the rewind button and go all the way back to where it started.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks for having me on today. I'm excited. So I own a company and we do IT for business. So if a customer, has a bunch of computers and a bunch of servers and they need this all managed, lots of email, there's going to be a lot of vulnerabilities. And we try to just get everything standardized, and we'll try to get it so the people who make the big bucks can sleep better at night for the most part.
Right. Well, and so with our current business, like Mary Alice and stuff, it was every aspect of Mary Alice from a technology standpoint had a different point of contact, and you're reaching in 360 degrees to try and track something down. And usually they point fingers all at each other along the way, and you're eventually going in circles. Mm-hmm. Joel is now that one point of contact, and he's going to go chase everybody in circles, and he's going to prevent it and make sure that we are taken care of. Plus his team, everything. So, would you say that most businesses out there are exposed to, I guess, attacks or whatever because they don't take it serious?
Yeah, there's they don't take it serious, or 10 years ago they had a guy and they said everything's good. But, the security landscape has really changed in the last 5 years. It's kind of like websites. You guys ever go on the internet and you see a website and you can kind of be like, oh, that's like
That's a little
5 years
sketchy.
old. I don't know. That's like pretty dated looking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything's going to the cloud, everything's online. And so your attack vector goes from being, the snivelly guy in your office to actually being everybody in every country being able to go to a website, go to your Google account or to your Office account and simply be able to try to log in as you. I mean, they can find your first name, your last name on LinkedIn, and the rest is history. If you have an easy password, it's insane because there's just a lot of risk because, it's a lot of money to them. Like, they got lots of manpower and not a lot of money. So they have entire offices and teams of people. If they do get a little bit of access, they literally have whiteboards and they'll draw it all out and mark who the CEOs are and who's CFO, and they'll start sending emails between people. So I'll try not to put you guys to sleep, by the way.
No,
This is awesome, man.
Well, I mean, first off, I guess when I thought of people getting hacked, it was like a singular person, maybe a couple people like in a bedroom or a garage, something like trying to hack. But what you're saying is like it's a big business and there's large teams.
Huge financial incentive, right? And so, places, throughout the world where the dollar is really strong and maybe their local currency isn't strong, you're going to have a very large incentive to make a few dollars, right? I mean, if you can pillage $100, that's, a week's worth of work, maybe.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
Yeah. So yeah, we've seen a lot of things happen, and we try to standardize the process and just take care of those sort of main attack vectors.
So are these same people? I mean, wasn't there a recent a big hack or something into some government files or something not too long ago? Wasn't there? I thought they hacked something, or maybe I'm wrong. But
No, I do remember saying something about it or hearing something about it, but I don't watch the news very often, so I wouldn't say I know exactly, but I do remember hearing something around that.
I don't know if this is probably not it, but I think MGM Grand just got super hacked.
Really?
And it was
They
super
did.
easy. Yeah. So all they did is they just went to their LinkedIn page. They found an employee's name.
Yeah.
And then they just sent an email pretending to be that employee to the help desk. And the help desk accepted the ticket and provided credentials to log into all their stuff.
No way.
and then they held them for ransom, basically, and shut down all their resorts.
Yeah, probably. Something. I don't know. I know that it was, in the, 10 million sort of problems, but it's a big problem.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you? You would think MGM would have their shit together, right?
Yeah.
And you would think it wouldn't be that easy, but really, it's not that easy. They're literally just impersonating someone, which is the difficult part, right?
Well, I think everything kind of reminds me of Alcatraz, where you have this island in San Francisco and, they're like, okay, we need to create some system that is impossible to escape. Nobody could ever escape this.
Yeah.
And so they put a bunch of people on the island, and smash cut to 20 years later, people are making knives out of, melted down styrofoam cups, and they're digging into concrete. And somehow, wherever there's a large incentive, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, there's a
And
way. Yeah, for sure.
That just applies to technology a lot.
What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes people make right now?
Okay, this is free advice. Okay.
Okay, free
So
advice.
What you got to do,
I like free advice.
we won't even take you as a customer if you don't agree to putting, it's called MFA. It stands for multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
You must have MFA on your email accounts.
Okay.
So if you have a server that's on site, only people that are on site or would have access to it. So that would require someone from a land far away to get to a device on the network, and then from there attack, try to gain access to the server. But anybody, like I said earlier, anybody could just go to office.com, click on the login button, and try to log in as me or you. So it's very easy to brute force passwords for email.
Yeah.
So my free advice is you must have MFA on your email accounts, all of them.
So how do you get MFA though?
It's just a setting. It's
So
included.
everyone offers it. So Gmail
Yeah.
offers it. Everyone offers
Yeah,
it.
it's like when you log into your bank and it's
Yeah.
like no.
It
It's
texts you and says,
yeah.
"Hey, here's the code. You got to put
I'm
this
gonna
code
send
in
a
now."
text, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So I do have that on, actually. I think everything.
I think you should.
Because like QuickBooks, emails, everything. It's all goes through.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right.
All the big companies have it implemented.
Yeah.
You will still see a lot of email accounts because people are like, oh, I don't want to, I gotta like put in a code in my phone and I suck at technology. But we can set it up in a way too where it doesn't bother you all the time. So
I get an email, I think probably once a week or so, and it's telling me that someone's trying to log into my old Hotmail account that is really old. Yeah, but it's like, it's not me. But I don't know if it's also a fake email trying to get me to log into it. That way they can steal my stuff. But I'm pretty smart, man.
I'm
I
curious
feel
what
like
your email was from back in the day.
Oh, it was hypnoticfilms@hotmail. That was my high school one. That was my business name back in the day, but nowadays, or it was long before that, my AIM name.
Yeah, what was it?
It was Live to Ride 421.
Is 421 better? Like one
Well, it's
better
my
than
birthday.
420?
Well, it's my birthday.
Okay.
So, it was April 21st, my birthday. So I figured my mom couldn't deliver me because she was high, 420. So just kidding.
She
my
didn't
mom
have
does
the
not do
energy to
that.
push. She's like, I'm going to wait till tomorrow.
So if you're looking to hack his account, make sure 421 is in the password.
Yes, absolutely. Everything. That's funny.
So, I mean, why is it important to have on the passwords? Let's talk passwords, right? I mean, I feel like it's difficult for everyone to have multiple passwords for everything. They start throwing special characters in it. Obviously, if you were to have 1, 2, 3, 4, that's not a solid password, right? But I mean, is it probably not smart to have the same password for everything?
Yeah. I mean, not at all.
It's like, not at all.
I don't know. There's different ways you could do it. I'd say for like your average person that's not a business and they just like, this is my Southern California Edison account. Here's like my Chase account. Here's my Bank of America account. You have password managers. Password managers get a little bit of flack because you're consolidating in all of your passwords to use one password.
Yeah. Okay.
But overall, you'll see that that's a better strategy than like having it be everywhere and resetting it all the time and never knowing it. And you've got to put it somewhere, right? So,
yeah. What are some of the craziest hacks that you've kind of seen happen? Like, there's got to be some like these moments where you're like,
any
oh
ransom
my
moments?
gosh.
I want to know like a ransom moment.
yeah, well, ransomware is a big deal, but I feel like it targets businesses that are irresponsible because it's actually if you set up your infrastructure correctly, you can set it up in a way where it's extremely resilient. So you can always get hacked. Everything gets jumbled up and they say like, give me 0.8 Bitcoins and I'll give you your money back. But it's very easy to restore and have a good backup product. So we use really good backup products if an entire server gets ransomware. So like, it's not ransomware, but what happened one time is we work for a company in the financial sector and they had a server and they all log into this server. It's called a remote desktop server or an RDS.
Yeah.
And they all log in and someone at the front, who's maybe not the most tech savvy person out there, they needed to contact QuickBooks because they're having a QuickBooks problem. And they really should have just called us first, but they just went to Google. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
You go to Google and you type in QuickBooks Desktop
customer
Support.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it pops up with an advertisement, to quick-books-desktop.nl.
Yep.
And you click it, and it's like, we will help fix your computer. Call this number. So she called the number. And she got some person in a faraway land to log into the computer. And at some point, one of the other members of that company walked by and was like, hey, like, who's on your computer? And she's like, oh, QuickBooks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they just do that all the time,
Yeah,
right?
sure, QuickBooks. So this would be an instance where even if you just have someone log into your computer, you don't know what they're doing. So these tools that they're using, they can put stuff behind the scenes. They can add remote loggers and all sorts of things. So in that case, the easiest method is the same solution to what you would do in a ransomware attack is you would simply just roll the whole thing back 7 hours.
Really?
You just roll it back to before the problem, before he logged in or she logged in.
Yeah.
And it's all the same. So
if you find yourself in that moment where someone's hacked onto your computer, what is the first thing you do? You literally turn it off, unplug everything from it, and go throw it outside and beat it with a hammer?
well, maybe not the hammer. Make sure to wear safety goggles. We've had problems with our employees try to smash things and kill their eyeballs with ball peen hammers and sharp hard drive objects. But yeah, pretty much just make sure you unplug. You can unplug just the internet connection. That would be all you'd really need to do.
Because then they're just going to do all the damage on that PC regardless, right? They're already there.
Yeah.
You're just trying to keep them from getting out of it.
Right. Yeah. Unplug the physical cable or turn off Wi-Fi to make sure you're disconnected. Call your local nerd. Be like, help.
What do I do?
I'd messed up. Yeah.
So insane. So funny. Go back to the QuickBooks deal. I was having a bunch of QuickBooks problems earlier in the year, and I was dealing with QuickBooks directly. And my CPA, she was dealing with them, same thing, back and forth. They have internal problems where pretty much he says, hey, your account manager went bad in QuickBooks, so we have to rebuild it. It's going to be $2,500 to rebuild it, or you're going to lose all your money. Or you're going to lose all your transactions and everything in there that you already separated and all that. I'm like, dude, that's 2 years, 3 years worth of work or whatever to go redo all that, Like, that's so much work to redo all of it. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. Like, there's no way they're going to charge $2,500 for an online thing I pay monthly for make sure that shit doesn't happen, And so I called my CPA. She's like, it's someone that's trying to steal money from you technically. Like, she's like, do not pay them anything. She's like, I'll get it fixed. And like, it was the craziest thing because like, they scare you, first of all. It's a scare tactic.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, I'm going to lose all this work. This is going to screw me over. I'm going to be outdated. I can't do any of my taxes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, $2,500. And then he called me back. He's like, sir, he goes, the more I look into it, he's like $500 more. It's me $3,000. He goes, but we need to do this now. We're going to lose it. So I need your card now. And I was like, I already talked to my CPA. And I was like, click, like, no, like, and I blocked the number. Like, it was craziest deal.
You
though.
just feel so taken advantage
feel
of.
so violated.
Even at that point.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It's a scary deal. Like, they have so much at their fingertips that they can just get in there, and it just sucks. It's a scary world that you're in because you never know what someone's going to do to you. And we work our ass off all the time to make money to pay for our bills and pay for our family, pay for our stuff, and someone could just go in there and take it.
Oh yeah.
It's like getting robbed. It's like someone breaking into your office or your house and stealing from you. But it's even worse because it's behind closed doors and it's scary and you never know what's going to happen.
Well, if you guys want to shift into kind of a lateral but an interesting version of this, there's new stuff coming out and it's absolutely terrifying. So,
Let's hear it.
That's what nightmares are made of.
I mean, it's Halloween time. Why not scare the shit out of us?
I mean, it's not terrifying, and you're going to wake up in a cold sweat. Well,
I might.
You might, yeah.
We might.
But you will lose enough money where you wish it was actually scary. But so what's happening right now is that I would say like 20 years ago, my grandparents got a call on the phone, and my brother's name's Lee, and they're like, this is Lee.
Oh.
This is Lee. I'm in jail.
I need money.
And my poor old grandparents are just like, Lee, hey.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So by the way, they target the elderly.
Yeah, they always do.
This is how they make
never
money.
put like grandma in your phone or grandpa on their names.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they targeted them. And the long story short is like, my grandparents are like driving down, they lived up in the mountains. They were like driving down the hill, going to the nearest,
Like credit union or something.
yeah, what's it called? Like Washington
Mutual?
Mutual. Anyways, it's one of these money transfer services.
Yeah.
They have them at grocery stores and things. They're driving down the hill. They called my mom and they're like, where's Lee? What's going on? And they're like, oh, I don't know. He's like on the couch here. You're like, do you need to talk to him?
No
And so
way.
it was just, just anyway. So
I mean,
wow.
thank God they did that though. Thank God they called your parents and like confirmed that he wasn't in jail.
yeah, but they were completely sold on it and they were going to go transfer money. So, there's really no shame. They target vulnerable people first.
Yeah.
And they'll trick you so good. So here's how in 2023, Sean, you're going to get tricked. Okay. Here's what they're going to do.
Because I think I'm not going to get tricked. You can just read through most
I
shit.
just-
I
could trick you.
Okay.
Watch this. You're going to get a phone call and it's going to be your wife.
Really?
It's going to sound like your wife.
AI.
It's going to be your wife. You don't know the difference. It's going to be from your wife's phone number calling you on your cell phone. And they're going to have they're going to social engineer you to get a little bit of money off you. And you'll never know the difference until you talk to her later and realize that you gave a bunch of money away. Because
Really?
AI is really talented. I think it's like, it kind of depends on the candor of your voice, but I think it takes like under 10 seconds to be able to fully sound like you. So you can take anybody's voice, feed it into a computer, 10 seconds later,
Done.
it's you. And so you can just start having people call other people, automated. It can all be automated, right? And you'll get big call centers just doing this. So
I was going to ask you that. I was like, AI was on my list of questions. Like, what is AI going to do? I mean, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
But
AI
it should also be, AI equally being kind of like a negative in the situation. It could also be the positive too, right? Helping
It's
to
going to be
kind
able
of
to track what
it
AI,
and find
what is AI.
this stuff too, right?
Kinda.
Kinda.
Well, it's like the nuclear technology, right?
Okay.
It's great. Like you can make lots of energy, lots of cool stuff.
You blow shit
but
up.
it's always going to be weaponized before it's useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'd say like the big picture with AI is that it will be weaponized far long before we use it for a lot of usefulness.
That black
So-
market shit.
Yeah. So
Wow.
That is so gnarly. No, nah. Because you'll never know. You'll never know who's calling. Like, oh.
Yeah. Rosie, I'm never sending you money again via phone call.
Sorry. I'm only giving you cash.
yeah. It's like, how do you bypass that? I don't know. Code words. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could probably
That's my
ask.
safe word.
Like
Pineapple.
anal.
What? Just kidding. Jeez.
I'm sorry. It might be Apple.
Apple.
Yeah.
That is scary. Okay. So you do security stuff. Do you all computer stuff then? What about like servers and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we don't really dabble in AV.
Yeah.
We don't dabble in websites,
Yeah.
and we don't dabble in things like access control or cabling. So it's going to be like IT systems, a lot of information management. But yeah, servers. You have a network attached storage there,
Yeah.
and if it's not working, we could help you guys out.
Yeah. That's what I was like, because I figured out like for us media nerds, I mean, we're running through probably 300-ish terabytes a year, maybe more. Filling things like crazy, and like we're filling raids after raids after raids. Like, is it cheaper to build a server here at the office? I know we won't be able to really access and pull like raw footage from remotely because the footage is so big, and I get that, and that's fine. But if I build a server here, can I get all my computers on that server ran with cables of some sort, whether it's Cat 5, Cat 6, or whatever it is, to pull footage? Is that possible? Is it possible to pull footage through a Cat 6 cable?
Yeah, everything is possible. It just depends on how much money you want to spend.
Yeah.
You can do a lot. Yeah, I mean, a NAS, a network attached storage, and a server, they're kind of the same thing. It's basically just storage in an array that's presented to some sort of computer that knows how to send and receive information to it.
Yeah.
Are you guys bored yet? It's really
Not at all.
exciting. Okay, so you could, if you wanted to easily share data, you could buy a server. I think the most cost-effective way to do it, depending on how much storage you have, is probably going to be to keep a NAS. Because when you buy a server, you're buying something that isn't just storage intensive, but something that also is providing a lot of processing power, and it has maybe a lot of RAM in it. You have to run maybe like a Windows operating system. And that's just overhead that could have been better spent in a NAS.
Yeah.
Just price-wise too, you're buying like HP drives or Dell drives, or you're buying, it's going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
So you can go to Amazon, you can get some Western Digital Golds that it might be knockoff, so don't get it from there, but get it from a distributor. And slam it into a NAS, and that's probably your best bet.
Now, is it
network.
rated though? Is it if one of those fails, will it rebuild itself?
Yeah, I mean, like Synology, I'm not sure what brand the one that you have is, but there's a lot of good NAS manufacturers out there, and you can slam 16, 24 drives in them, and have just a tremendous amount of storage. It's all can be redundant as you want to make it. And you can also buy something would be helpful is to maybe use 10 gigabit speed. So I'm not sure what you have now, but if it's kind of slow when you're moving it over the network, you could use like a 10 gig card, and it would go about 10 times faster than what you're using right now.
Now, this might be a stupid question. You guys might both laugh at me, but why not try cloud, like a cloud-based server for something like that?
Yeah, good question, Sean.
Loser. Man.
Yeah, great.
All right, I see where this is going.
No,
Jeez.
that's just joking.
No.
So, it's too much. Like you're capped at the speed of your internet connection. And in this area, you probably have actually really good internet speeds. But let's say you have a really good one. You have something like, I don't know. They might. Who's your internet provider?
Spectrum.
Spectrum. Okay, you're screwed. Never mind.
Yeah, they're not.
So
great,
if you, so there's one reason. Like your upload bandwidth is what you're going to be limited by. If you had Frontier, they're in a lot of these places around here. You can get these new services that can go up to 2 gigabits upload.
That's pretty awesome.
Which is going to be the same speed as you're pulling over the network.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more feasible. So it's not a terrible question. It's becoming more feasible. I will say though that cloud storage in a business production setting is very expensive still on a per terabyte basis.
Yeah.
Well, because the reason why I ask is our MRP system that we have at Gibson and stuff, it's a cloud-based storage unit, and then their tell is like, oh, it's the same servers that Amazon and stuff uses and all that. I mean, is that really supposed to make me feel better? Is there more exposure in those clouds as far as being hacked or shutdowns versus having it like in-house?
Yeah, I think there's different types of difficulties when you're giving your infrastructure to a company, right? It's like, well, you want to make sure you don't miss a payment. That's really important. You also want to make sure that, Amazon can, if you become popular and Amazon doesn't like you, they can just pull the plug on all your stuff. So I think there's some examples in the last 5 years of apps that had tens of millions of subscribers, and it was a conflict of interest with Amazon's ideology, and they just pulled the plug on them. The whole business, they went out of business overnight.
Wow.
2 seconds.
Yeah. So there's I would say there's that kind of concern in terms of security that you essentially,
You want to keep it local.
Right, yeah, like having problems with Instagram if your account gets banned, right? Like, how are you going to get that back? Well, like, they own the keys to your city. Yeah, like, but in Amazon's a little bit of the same. So if you're in a space that's controversial, you may want to keep the infrastructure local.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you become more popular, as things grow and things become popular.
So then one more question, not on business side, but more personal side. We always buy like a new computer or something, you go to Best Buy or a laptop, you get the shit, and it's got the spyware thing that keeps popping up. It's like, you need to renew this. You're like, I don't even know what this, like, you almost feel like it's a scam sometimes. Like someone's trying to sell you, some snake oil or something. Like, how important is it to have those spywares and stuff and purchase those things from the computer? Or is it better to go to someone like you and you set it up and get it done right?
So we don't do anything to do with home. We have a fairly complicated service agreement, and we want to make sure that it's business to business work. There's liability attached to going into grandma's computer and dusting off the cat hair, and just to be honest, it's terrible work. Yeah, it's terrible.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
not worth it. Not worth a couple $100.
Yeah, not worth a couple $100. I would say too that, and I think that the people listening would probably agree with this, that it is the trend of the youth to not even have laptops anymore. So everything is app-based, everything's on your phone. So most people, unless you're in a business setting, don't even have a Windows or Mac computer. Most of it's just...
That's so crazy.
You have an iPhone, it has apps on it, and that's everything you need.
Yeah. I mean, you could run your QuickBooks for your little company you make, selling your
I
art.
can't do it. I have 2 screens. I think I need 3 screens.
Well, for business, I refuse to use my cell phone for... It's not functional in a business setting.
It doesn't work.
Not,
but just on a
it's not
personal,
enough.
for personal stuff, I mean, it can pretty much do everything.
It's fine on Instagram.
Yeah, and all the social
Check your
media.
email. Yeah. This is your basic goodies.
So, how did you get involved in this? Like, what made you say, like, I'm going to be the cyber warrior?
Yeah, well, I should have been I was put on this planet to be a traveling musician.
Okay.
And to just smoke some pot and hang around. I come from a clan of, family of hippies and for some way I landed into doing this stuff, but
So wait, what type of musician would you have been? Or do you think you were put on this earth to be?
yeah, I actually play a few instruments.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually play the bagpipes.
No,
I
you
just
don't.
never
Yeah.
would have guessed.
That's
Yeah.
so dope.
You know
Yeah.
what? That makes a ton of sense now.
You honestly played
It all
bagpipes?
makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can play okay. I mean, it's a lifetime of learning. So it's really,
Dude, can you play like the famous songs that they play on bagpipes?
Sure. Yeah. Like Scotland the Brave.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
the sickest. Dude, bagpipes are the coolest thing in the world.
So, but I mean, I feel like I played the bass guitar for 10 years and I was actually this is like really boring for your audience. I was actually in a band. We had a management deal with Puff Daddy's manager.
No way.
Yeah. We got to play at the Roxy in LA.
Dude,
I had
that's
groupies.
rad.
I was like 21.
Groupies.
It was so cool. I thought I was the coolest thing ever.
It is the coolest thing ever.
That was
though.
pretty much the coolest
Did you
thing
play
ever.
bagpipes in your band though?
No.
Oh
This
man,
is
That's
later
such a cool
on.
intro.
Oh man, I would definitely, I would have been married early if I played bagpipes.
That's
in a
true.
band.
That's very true.
I would have had kids way
You've
too
been
early.
locked down real quick.
So I played bass. I think I got tired of it. It's kind of like a back a scene instrument, especially in like rock and pop music
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, like hard cut, like let's just go to the bagpipes. I was actually just down a rabbit hole on YouTube, and
I can
I
play
liked it.
that.
Yeah, he's kind of a niche
Yeah.
thing. Like,
So I was like, should have been doing music, and our manager at the time his name was Phil Robinson. He was Puff Daddy's manager, and we got to do cool stuff.
That is sick, man.
And then he got sick. He got like a tumor on his pancreas. And
my gosh.
It was sad, and that was like the end of our music career. But we got to play at the Roxy in LA.
what
We got
type
to-
of music?
It's, I mean, this was like the era of mediocre pop music. So I mean, just nothing impressive. I mean, I was a good musician, but come on, anybody who plays bass guitar knows it's just quarter notes in the background, like super boring, right?
Super boring.
We try to like add in some jumps and some things to like spice it up, but it's still
cool.
just quarter notes.
Yeah, that's it.
It was really boring.
What was the name of the band?
Vujade.
Vujade.
It's like deja vu,
yeah,
but backwards, right? Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Genius.
Vujade.
Yeah, it was pretty mediocre.
That's pretty awesome, man.
It was
What
fun though. We
what
had a good
cool-
sound.
yeah.
Female fronted band. It was a female singer. So
Nice.
Well, and here your wife was wondering why we would want to talk to you.
look at that. Look at these stories.
Even know.
that's so funny. Yeah, no, I totally honest story. Hey, babe, I'm gonna make you watch this later. I was telling Stevie this as well, but I was like sitting down last night and we were just talking, and I'm like, hey, babe, like Sean from Gibson Performance and Mary Alice, he invited me to do a quick podcast, and she, with 100% sincerity, looks at me and says, with no malicious intent, says, why would he do that? Why would he ask you to do it? Yeah. Why would he ask you to do it? And I was like,
Say, what, do you not think I'm interesting? Or
She's like,
what?
do they know you play bagpipes?
She said, you better tell you bagpipes.
She's like, they might not allow you on if they know you play bagpipes.
I'll tell you, you either love the bagpipes or you hate the bagpipes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
No, I can definitely see that for sure. I love them, though.
So are there like specific holidays where you break out the bagpipes? And the kids are like, no, Dad.
I've played less in recent years just because I have kids, and it goes. And I've been really busy with work, and and bagpipes is just a hell of an instrument to play. It's just the most challenging. I mean, you have to have incredible lung capacity. You've got
that's
to
what's
train it up.
crazy, man.
You got to work at it.
I'm sure the wife would enjoy if you taught the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, babe, let's get some snare drums, and they can be my
Yes.
little drummer kids. We'll just leave it in our large family room. Yeah, lots of echoing. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of it. The neighbors will love you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were in a band. Mm-hmm. Vujade. Is that-
Let's say yes.
Yeah,
Let's just say
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
It's a passing grade.
And then so that kind of came to an end. Where'd you go next?
Okay, well, so that fell apart, and the guitarist in the band is actually a really interesting story. I feel like there are these people in life who just are born with the gift of, I will make lots of money, and they're born with this sort of malicious intent of being financially and in a power sense, like very successful.
Yeah.
So the lead singer of the band was very instrumental in getting us to the point where we could even do that. I mean, he put this guy in kindergarten, he was buying pencils for 25 cents out of these old roller machines. You know, you used to like put you slide them out and he'd pull the pencil out and he'd go into class with like some pencils and he'd sell them for 10 cents. And he'd,
wow.
Yeah. So he's always been incredibly motivated.
Hustler.
In fourth grade, he sold us our first computer monitor to my family. In fourth grade, he had his reseller's certificate. Yeah. In the state of California, in Fresno County. He sold us our first computer monitor. Yeah. Fourth grade.
Wow.
And so he was a pretty cool guy. I feel like, and I wouldn't consider myself ultra successful, but the success that I have had, I feel like it's a combination. I feel like that might have been part of it too, is being connected with someone and, growing up with him, best man at the wedding, that whole thing. I got to see him take a couple things from zero, like the band, from being a zero to playing at the Roxy in LA,
that's cool.
Yeah. And so, he was very instrumental. I feel like he was a big part of it. I got to see, but after the band ended, went to San Diego. Hey, San Diego. Like, let's have some fun.
Perfect.
I played
bagpipes. Not a big market in San Diego.
Got the bass, though.
You got the bass guitar.
So did you know at that point when you went to San Diego what you wanted to do, that you were going to get into IT? Like, did it kind of intrigue you or?
Yeah, I did get a job at a fairly large company being in their IT department.
Okay.
So I did go to college. It was almost useless in terms of what I learned there as it pertains to IT. And I went to San Diego. I did get a job. I had a piece of paper, look at me, and I made almost nothing. And I was very lucky that it was right around 2008. I worked there for about 10, 12 months. And then the economy tanked and I got fired.
Wow.
And it was one of the best moments of my life. Yeah. I was rolling on unemployment, looking for new jobs, just hanging out. And during that time, I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure I could, I got at least a few months of income here. Like, let's just get something started.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, And
so that's funny how that works, man. When it pushes you that position.
Well, a lot of people get pushed to that position and they wait for something to happen. And then some people make something happen.
They capitalize on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you made something happen.
Yeah, and I mean, a testament to anybody can do it because, again, I'm supposed to be on LSD and traveling between colleges right now. Yeah. Like, that's where I should have been. And if I could do it, anybody can really do it. So yeah,
it just takes hard work, man.
It's awesome.
It's really a simple formula. You just have to like work really hard.
That's it.
Yeah.
You gotta work really hard, but you gotta also not give up. Because it's a fact of when things get hard, you want to just like, I'm over this. Like, let's quit. But and then you find yourself 20 years down the line, you're like, oh shit, I'm still doing this. Like, how did I get here? It's pretty wild. It's the never give up attitude for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the trajectory of the business, it's like, it's some sort of line that goes in the up position and making more money.
Yep.
But if you look at each month, I mean, it fluctuates a lot, and there's a lot of wins and there's a lot of losses.
Yeah.
But if you just keep pushing it and you really are focused and have discipline, then I think anybody can be at least as successful as I am. So
it's awesome.
Well, I mean, you started that in what, 2008, 9?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you started in San Diego.
Yeah, I ended up moving back to the Inland Empire just because I had a few more contacts back here.
Yeah.
And it was a really hard start. I basically knew like maybe 2 or 3 companies. I got on working for just about free. I was making like $40. Like, my company rate at the time was $40 an hour.
Wow.
And I would do horrible things. I would drive to the fashion district in LA for $55 an hour, excluding drive time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'd work for 2 hours and then sit in traffic and make $110 and then sit in traffic in a car that had mediocre air conditioning. And I would just sit in LA traffic, leaving Los Angeles at 3 o'clock.
That's what you had to do, man. I would drive. It's funny. My first feature film I was ever on, I drove to LA. I was right out of high school. I drove to LA every single day for $50 a day.
Wow.
And I would drive from Ranch Cucamonga to LA, which would take me, I'd leave at 4 a.m. I'd be there by 6 a.m. I would shoot all day. Nighttime, probably wrap like 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Come back, taking me like 2 or 3 hours to get home every single day for like 2 months straight. $50 a day.
Wow.
I was making 200. Oh, I loved it. I loved it, man. It didn't even pay for my gas. Like, I remember one day my tire went flat because my tires were so bald that they just didn't have any air in them left. Like, but it didn't matter because I was getting there no matter what. And it made it work. You know, that was one of the things. Like, when you first start doing it, I think I was still working. No, I think I was full time at that point. But anyways, it was just crazy. It was a crazy deal of like, dude, you give up. You don't give up. You just keep going for it.
Yeah, and it took a lot of years to get any traction, you know. I think what's also very helpful is if you don't have distractions in your life. So, you know, try to do this before you're married with kids because it's a lot harder afterwards. So that was very beneficial. Although I will say that once I got married, you know, I kind of like had to grow up a little bit and I was like, I got to make some money now.
Yeah,
so,
I know. It changes your life a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
So, are there people out there that will hack your shit? Like, let's say business people are starting. Let's say you're starting this business, right?
Okay.
I'm sure it had to cross your mind when you were starting. Like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna go hack this business and then magically show up on the door the next day. Hey, guys, just in case you need any IT help or anything or have any problems, just give me a call.
Like, actually, my shit got hacked last night.
Yeah, just what happened last night. It got hacked. You're perfect timing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like social engineering is definitely one of the easiest ways to get hacked right now.
yeah.
I mean, and AI, of course, is adding to that, making it easier for people to do social engineering, you know, gathering lots of data and things.
Yeah, so what's social engineering? Explain it to me.
Yeah, social engineering is simply when you're not using anything technical, but for example, you call up MGM Grand and you say, hey, you know, I go to LinkedIn, I find some employee, hey, his name's John Smith, and I just call the help desk at MGM Grand.
This is John Smith.
This is John Smith. Forgot my email password. I'm super sorry. I'm late. Can you just send me a reset? Hey, you know, funny you say now I had to borrow my wife's phone. Can you send it to her email or to like my backup email because I don't have access to my other phone right now?
So it's really just being a human at that point.
You're just essentially tricking these poor fools.
You just have no morals and you just go for it.
Yeah.
So
very easy.
Did that guy get fired for giving John Smith a reset password to his wife's phone?
Well, in Vegas, he probably got worse than that.
That's true.
Especially since it
Get those
kind of
hands
hit
cut off.
mainstream media too. It kind of became a big thing. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it like affected all their gambling and everything.
No, it did. There was people like on Facebook and friends, like they were like out there and everything was shut down. They couldn't get to their rooms. They couldn't check into their rooms.
Oh, so they
the
like
door
shut it
locks,
down.
the everything, the gambling,
The air
all
conditioners.
It stopped and halted. And I felt like it was kind of like one of those
so
ransom
these guys
deal
were
things.
legit though. Like,
Well, the best way to do
You
it.
don't have to be legit, I think,
but
right?
if but okay, getting into someone's email is different than getting into like and shutting down the hotel. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the hacking industry is really interesting. And again, I'm no part of this, but I hear plenty of stories. It is a very sophisticated industry. You'd think it's just like, you know, sniveling guy in the basement kind of doing his thing.
Yeah.
But it's really not. You actually have different people that specialize in different things. So you have entire companies that specialize in breaking through one antivirus or like breaking through antivirus products. You have another company who specializes in, you know, creating malware that can infect a certain type of computer. So a lot of, you know, if you're a big company like MGM Grand, you have a lot of money, then it would behoove the person who did the social engineering to simply sell that connection that they just made.
Yeah,
it's
makes sense.
Compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
He's just going to be like, hey, look, like I got a connection to MGM Grand, $50,000 right now, and I'll give it to you. And then he's out.
They're gonna go in.
His liabilities off the and so it gets very compartmentalized.
Wow, it's like an agency almost.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, do you think like the Pentagon could be hacked?
You can't say that name on
I know.
air.
Hey, hope you're not
We're
hosted
trying to
on
get us more
Amazon.
viewers. I mean, good or bad.
We're gonna make the news.
Yeah, you're not hosted on Amazon, or you guys aren't like posting to Apple.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
It is.
okay.
That's
Oh,
Spotify
of course.
and Apple.
Yeah, hey.
You're like, Sean, you might want to delete that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is bringing in a new era. I
Yeah.
mean, we're in the information age, and now we're in the AI age, and AI is really good at doing things like brute forcing passwords.
So I mean, like, do you ever see like do you think like there could be like a war, and the war between countries is actually more through hacking and stuff back in rather than like literally like bombs flying back and forth?
Well, it's going to turn into hacking that are firing off the bombs.
So
You can't say bomb either.
we're already there and have been there for a long
Sorry.
time.
It's kind of the bomb.
So it is my opinion that we're already there. It's
right.
actually been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Bombs don't really get dropped on foreign soil, especially against superpowers.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to gain influence, it's going to be 100% information based. And that is, they're like, oh, look, like Iran. Oh, what do you know? That power plant self-imploded.
Yeah,
Oh, how
weird.
did that happen?
Yeah, so strange.
It's the same thing here. I wouldn't be surprised if all the major superpowers with large defense budgets don't have a ton of vulnerabilities in every country.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So who would you say? So how did we get introduced?
I got a call from
Was it from
Julie.
Was it from my mom?
I got a call from Julie on the phone.
She always holds things together.
I don't remember why, but I strangely remember that I was on the 60 freeway and had pulled off to a gas station when she called me.
How long ago? Long time ago?
I mean, it's gotta
About 8 years, I'd say.
Oh,
be,
shoot.
no,
Okay.
it's gotta be more than that, right?
Well, your server is, I checked today, your server is 7 years old. So I would assume that.
I mean, my computer right now, I was informed today, is like over 5 years old, and I should probably get it
over
replaced.
5, but
And I
yeah.
feel like we've gone through multiple levels of computers, but it's only 8 years ago.
The server, I think, was 8 years ago. Your computer's probably much older than that.
Yeah. But so that's how we got introduced. So but no, we had to have been there way before that. Because I feel like it's been a long time. But
Yeah.
were you like
8 years ago was a long time ago.
Were you like, yes, Gibson exhaust?
I know.
Stoked. We got this big company. It's gonna be so rad. Like, dude, this is Score. And then you go there and like, aw.
It's like,
Oh, man.
yeah,
This is your son?
What do you mean you guys don't want to pay me monthly?
yeah, no, it was it was all part of this wonderful process, and it was a learning experience.
It's
and
a
it's
wonderful
like,
process.
you start with nothing, and you like work for free for a long time, and then you get medium customers, and then
That's how it goes, man.
I mean, we still do work for you guys. It's a great company. I get a kick out of you guys, and it's been great. So, and I have a staff now.
He gets a kick out of us being able to just squeeze every dollar out of every piece of equipment we have.
Oh, what about this one? Oh, what about this one? What about this one?
Yeah.
He's like, you should really replace this, but do we have to?
Yes.
I have
Can
a
we get like
staff
4
now.
more years
so
out of here?
it's I don't have to deal with like the super terrible
That's
things
good.
anymore. So
That's
that's
good.
like,
That's the best way to do it.
man.
I know.
All right, just
Die
look at it.
early.
Don't call your cell phone all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many different types of industries are you in? What type of industries are you really in?
Yeah, so we have a lot of customers that have compliance requirements. So when you're talking about a lot of complexity, and this goes with Go Mary Alice as well,
Yeah.
you don't want to just leave it to the wind, or you check your referrals, everybody. Make sure that you're hiring someone who knows what they're doing, or has a good referral, or can show examples of success.
Yeah.
And we do quite a bit in the compliance in companies who have compliance requirements. So this is going to be anything from HIPAA and NIST to things like CMMC certification. We've been a part of that process a lot.
Wow.
So healthcare is a big one, financial, it's any information heavy company.
So besides like Gibson obviously being like your favorite, who would you say is just like that one? I mean, who's someone that you can talk about like is like your baby? Like who like kind of sent you to that next level and opened up many doors?
Yeah, good question. I think one of the successful strategies that I've had is, it's interesting. I don't think you can ever be a no person if you're starting out.
Yeah.
And the most successful customer that we've had, they called me and I met them out in Colton, California. And I got there and they're like, hey, we just had this other guy. I knew this other company, and they're like big time, And they're like, hey, like we just talked to these other guys. It's only a couple people right now, but we're going to be a big company and we're like going places. We're going to do it and we're going to do it right. And we're looking for IT. But this other guy said he wouldn't even take us because we were too small. And I was like, oh, come on, give me a hug. Give me some love. I'm
Yeah,
down.
I got this.
Hey,
Yeah,
friend.
let's go.
Yeah, and just being nice to people goes a long way. And
big
they
deal.
went from being our smallest customer and me kind of giving them a handout and just being like, yeah, like I'll set it up, taking a flyer on it. And they ended up being our most lucrative customer.
Wow. It's awesome, man.
What industry is
That's
that?
how it goes.
It's in healthcare.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. Healthcare, automotive industry is not very good, man. If you want to make money, don't go automotive. Especially like exhaust companies. Definitely stay away from
I
those
wouldn't do
guys.
that. I mean, it's fun, but
Yeah, it's fine, but
That's about
if
it.
you want to have fun, fine. But if you don't,
Not computers if you're
you
looking
wanna
for
make-
fun.
it's
That one.
it's very exhausting.
Yeah,
it's
no pun
exhausting.
intended.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like it.
But it's
if
a
you-
powerful industry.
It's power. Oh God, I'm sorry. So if you had to have like a hacker name, what would it be? Have you ever seen?
I actually made one
it would
recently.
be his
you?
it would be his band name.
No, I figured it'd be like Bagpiper 909 or something really cool.
I don't know. I made this name on Discord not too long ago,
Nice.
and I like it a lot. And I don't know if it's funny. It might be funny if you're in the industry. It might not be funny at all, but it's funny to me. I call it. The name is Onboarding Hell. So like one of the worst parts of.
So not funny.
Yeah, super. Well, it's like whenever you're onboarding with. Okay, this the ERP software
hold on.
you're using, right? Remember that really fun software?
Oh yeah.
Was it hell to onboard with Epicor?
hell?
It's hell. And so the long story short was that there's a vendor and they suck ass and they sold me on some shit and I ate it up.
Yeah.
And I got stuck in a term agreement with them and a big mess pursued. And I went onto their Discord and made a new account. And I was onboarding with them at the time. And I made my name Onboarding Hell. And I thumbs down all their posts. Yeah, it was good.
Nice, that's awesome.
You're one of
Thumbs
them.
down.
A burn account or what?
Yeah, I'm thinking about keeping it. Onboarding
Nice,
Hell.
nice.
It's like, gotta be kind of nerdy
Just for all
to
those
like it.
opportunities when you're going through onboarding hell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Hacker names. I don't know. I don't have one.
Aw.
Do you guys have one?
I wouldn't even know what it would be.
No, I don't either.
Probably Leroy.
Everything's Leroy.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be like a porn name. Do you guys have like porn names?
Well, no, the porn name back in the day wasn't it like your the street you grew up on and your middle name. Yeah, it was your middle name and then the street you grew up on.
Ooh,
And
Caldwell Wayne.
mine was Leroy Alpine.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your middle name first?
I think so. I think
Oh,
so.
so it's Wayne Caldwell. Wayne Caldwell. Oh, that's
That
pretty
one's
dope,
pretty
dude. Wayne
good.
Caldwell.
What was yours?
Edward Brown.
No way. Dude, that's legit.
Yeah.
That is so legit.
Especially when you say with a deeper voice, Edward Brown.
Yeah, I feel like all this is very useful information when they're
is.
trying to hack your accounts.
Yeah.
Super helpful.
Shit.
Super helpful.
You just give away your
Yeah, I
passwords.
know. We're gonna have a little like bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah, I feel like it would be very easy these days to just make a bot to scan audio,
Right?
take everything,
On podcasts.
Yeah, and just take anything that was not. It could filter out the conversation into different types of cadences, I'm sure, and just find a bunch of passwords and just smash them together.
I'm
Easy.
sure AI is listening right now. They're probably gonna
Yeah.
take that idea and go
Yep.
run with it.
Yeah.
Start scrubbing. Yeah, I think that's actually a great idea.
a royalty.
Scrub.
I had another question. Okay, so out of all the companies you dealt with, I mean, have you had like a big scare moment where you're like, "Oh shit! Like this thing's, we got to really get to work
Like
on
kicking
this,"
your
or do you have
butt?
enough things up front to really just kind of mitigate most of it?
So the most important part is make sure you have backups, and our backup process is legit. So we have not only a very top shelf backup product, but we set up our backup machine in a way where it's completely disconnected from your network. So if your NAS is on the network, little robot can log in and like crawl around, and if things
Yeah.
are your computer has like a password and a username, and it's very nice and seamless to get to the NAS because it uses the same password and username. Well, it's that same ease that lets it get to all the data and lock it up. So we keep our backup machines completely separate from the rest of the network. That's like your most important part. Second most important part is you have to back things up in a way where you're backing the whole thing up. You're not just like backing up one or two pieces of
Yeah.
it. And then that gets sent to the cloud every night, most at 7 p.m. And then we have SOPs, very exciting stuff, standard operating procedures, where on a weekly basis, we have someone log in manually. Not only do we get notifications when there's a problem with the backup, but we do have people logging in weekly to visually verify that it says successful in the backup. And then the last thing is we have quarter. We do a lot of we do restore. So every company, we do a quarterly full run through and testing on the backups. So we've been fortunate. We've had a lot of scares. We've had customers get hit by ransomware. We've had customers have people log in, but all that's mitigated. You have to have a really good backup solution and you have to have good procedure to support it.
That's smart though.
So now, I mean, not all of our millions of listeners are going to be able to call you and have you do their service, but if you were sitting there trying to shop someone, right? You don't have any connections or any word of mouth, in a short bit, how do you know if you're going with the right person or not to handle your IT? What would be a couple telltale signs of hey, stay away, or what are some things you should make sure that they do have?
If I was a small company, let's say I had 4 employees and I'm hey, look, I forgot everyone's password. We have maybe 4 computers. Let's just use 10 actually is a little easier of a number. I feel up to a certain point, you don't really need an IT person. But if you have 10 computers and 10 employees, you're starting to get to that point where the information's going to be messy. What I'd recommend is try to find a business that has at least 1 employee.
Okay.
So there's a lot of self-made good talkers out there.
Yeah.
But if you don't have 1 staff member, you haven't made it over that hurdle for some reason. So I would say try to find someone with at least 1 employee. And, fully test the process. You can call our phone number right now, and I guarantee if it's at least her phone will ring, actually, but someone will pick up. We have people on staff that'll pick up. So give them a run through. Call their support number right now. Does someone pick up? Hey, who's this? Do they ask you what your name is? Hey, what? How do you like them? Do you like the way they sound?
Yeah, just the way you interact with them.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, I don't know, social engineer them, I guess. Call them up. Hey, I just got off the phone with you 10 minutes ago. Hey, I lost my cell phone. Can you send me a password reset?
See if you can hack them.
hey, if you're feeling ambitious.
That's a great way, right?
It is, yep.
But
if you hack them, you're screwed.
It's pretty hard. Nerds talk in weird nerd lingo, so it is hard to vet someone. So yeah, it's
So how do you vet your employees? I mean, now granted, they might be listening, so you might want to be careful.
Yeah, honestly,
it's we're getting vetted.
She's shoot. You know what? They're all just amazing. They just come right in here.
Yeah,
they work out so well.
It's all boring. What I do is I found a really great person, and I pay a lot of money to have him vet my list.
Okay.
So how do you vet him though?
So I met a guy at
He's the lead singer of my band.
Have you guys heard of Grindr?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no, I haven't.
Wait, what's that? I mean,
like a pepper grinder?
Yeah. No, I met him at this mastermind thing, and it was just kind of a fun little networking event.
Nice.
Met a guy, we hit it off. He's really cool. He runs a business. And he has at least 1 employee, and
there we go.
And yeah, he was cool. And I felt like I could trust his judgment, and he vets. He is kind of a supplement. He vets people. We use Indeed or whatever, and he'll vet people, and he'll give me a final list, and he'll put me in contact with just that final list of people. Yeah. So he'll vet a lot of those questions, and then my strategy is I take him to lunch. I'm just if you've already made the final list, we'll go for and do an hour or 2. Hey, you want a drink?
Yeah.
And, hey, I don't know if you smoke because I know this guy. Hey.
What kind of passwords do you use?
Yeah. So
awesome. It's gotta be kind of hard. I mean, you're putting a lot of trust in these employees, and there's a lot of information that they're responsible and have access to. So, I mean, it's one thing to hire someone to work at McDonald's or handle the cash in a drawer, but I mean, you're putting a lot of trust in these employees. So it's got to be kind of a process, right? Yeah. So I mean, I've always gone under the impression that every person that I call over at Linity Tech is a badass because they're working there in one fashion or another. They're pretty badass.
Keep your employee, find people you like. I mean, I forget who said it, but you want to hire slowly, fire quickly. Mm-hmm. So, vet someone heavily, hang out with them, get to know them as a person.
Yeah.
I do I ask all sorts of horrific questions during the interview that I may not supposed to be asking people. And
Well, technically, they're not an employee yet, so now's the time, right?
well, this is the other reason to have someone be an intermediary, like have an HR person, like ask the hard questions. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you single? Like, are you married? Like, what's going on?
So what are your hobbies?
Yeah, grinder. So so I think, like we make sure that everyone is first and foremost a cool ass nerd.
Yeah.
And if you're a cool ass nerd, I mean, I could teach you how this touches that, and
Yeah,
fair
it ends
enough.
up being retain your employees, keep them around.
Yes.
I have my first employee is still with me. And yeah, she was my first employee, and we're still rocking it out.
We'd probably leave you if she left. We'd follow her.
There's a lot of customers that say that, so you wouldn't be the first one. But yeah,
Keep it tight.
treat people good. I mean, this is like an old school thought, but be nice to people. Treat them good.
Weird,
Try
right?
to give them a little bit of money every now and again. Crazy,
Exactly.
right?
That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, keep them important. Have them keep a challenge. I try to keep everyone challenged. Like don't just let them just like flip the burger. Like keep
Yeah.
them interested in things.
Yeah.
So that I try to, because it's so scary. I really focus on finding really quality people, making it an engaging job for them personally. After I make sure it's a good fit, and we just try to have fun together. We do cool stuff.
No, that's awesome. I mean, every time we call, everyone seems to be in a good, positive mood, understanding. Like, for a few times we'd call and someone new, and I'm like, oh shit, like. Is this person gonna know what I'm gonna do? Like, can I just please talk to Steve?
Yeah, where's Joel?
Yeah, where's Joel?
Yeah, I'm calling
Steve?
you, yeah.
Right. But then like they're right on it. So whatever programs you have set up, your SOPs, like it works, and you get that same service through anyone. And so you've done a hell of a job. Yeah. So keep it up. So how long you been in business now?
Well, I feel like that my buddy who's more successful than me by now could have done this in maybe a third of the time, but I've been doing this for about 15 years now.
Awesome.
And I worked the first 5 for free. And so maybe 10 years where it's at right now, but I've been doing computers for 15
Well,
years.
and he's managed to now have a business in California and live in Texas, right?
That's right.
No way.
Yeah. So
Makes sense.
we opened an office in Dallas, in the Dallas area, and talk about growth. I mean, there's a ton of growth in Dallas.
lot.
And it's a cool area. We actually had a couple employees, like keep your employees, everybody. We had a couple employees where they're like, hey man, we're moving to Texas.
Nice, dude.
And I said, where? And they said Dallas. And I said, me too.
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm going too. So
it's awesome.
so it worked out really well. But I literally had 2 employees and so we opened an office there. And so we're acquiring and having fun there.
That's
That
awesome.
is really cool. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize you had an office there
Yeah,
also.
congrats on that. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.
So if you live in Texas, you know who to call.
Yeah. Well, I've had to travel a lot though. So there's definitely no shortage of me being here.
Yeah, I mean, technically, he's
yeah.
in California
Hey,
right
I'm
now.
in California. Yeah. Yeah. I come back quarterly and, have long, try to make sure everything's functioning well and all that boring stuff.
Makes sense.
So is your wife tied to the industry at all? Was she a groupie?
Was she groupie?
Well,
Bagpipe groupie?
there's a value, like would be great. She'd be a great supplement to the business. But I feel like the value, my best move is to not shit where I eat. And I'm so happy that I've not brought her in any regard to the industry because I can go home and not put her to sleep every time that I talk about things. So
Good.
it's like the most ongoing joke is like, how do I put my wife to sleep? And it's like, tell her about my day.
But you know what? You managed to make this shit exciting because I mean, it could be boring ass stuff, but I mean, you really bring a lot of excitement to it, and like I don't know, you animate it in a way to where we can relate to it and understand it and get it. Like it's not. Like trying to read the manual for a Dell computer.
That'd be the day.
It's very true. It's very
Yeah,
boring.
well, it's pretty relevant now for business. The industry's changing a lot. I'd say that's another one of the big tricky things is whatever worked 5 years ago, 10
Doesn't
years
mean so
ago,
work now.
it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Things are shifting really quickly, and we're hoping that we can keep up with the changes.
So you're pushing the old timers out.
Well, all of our customers they trust me. They trust my judgment. We've known each other. I hang out with them. Like we'll have a drink or we'll like go to grab dinner, and I know their family and all this
That's
stuff.
cool.
And I just try to propose and explain very sensical.
Yep.
You must do this because you will be left behind.
Yep.
And most people trust me, and we try to take care of them and be somewhat affordable. So
That's cool.
So I mean, computers. Some of my computers are still like this big.
we got to replace that computer, by the way.
He's not gonna play for another 10 years.
No, I won't. And it's now there's like PCs the size of these phones, right? Like, what is that next step? And our servers going to get smaller? Is everything kind of getting compact, or is it going to go bigger again? Like,
Yeah, 100% everything gets smaller.
yeah,
Yeah, if you look at I don't know if you've ever seen like a laptop these days, but it's like let's say it's like a standard 15-inch laptop or a 14-inch laptop, right? So it's going to be this big. Well, if you actually rip the thing open, there's just nothing in there anymore. There used to be a CD-ROM that was that big. Once laptops stopped having CD-ROMs in them, there's nothing that takes the space up anymore. So they're so light compared to what they used to be 5 years ago.
And so you think they just continue to get smaller and smaller? Like, what do you think the next big step in technology is that we might see? What's your thoughts? If you could guess.
Well, I don't have to guess too hard. It's the major pain point for a lot of IT companies right now is adapting. So we're currently in a big flux between we're Microsoft's bitch, okay? And when you're someone's bitch, you just have to do what they say.
All right.
Okay, so Microsoft right now is going through a lot of changes, and the changes are not here to make me more money and to make my life easier.
Yeah.
It's to make Microsoft more money. And so there's only a couple options. There's a complete monopoly on operating systems, right? What are you going to get that's not Linux, a Mac, or a Chromebook? Like what options are out there? And if you look at who has the market share of the business, that's going to be Windows, vast majority. So you're essentially stuck with Microsoft. And what's changing right now is people are going from on-premise to have everything be in the cloud. And this is your work from home stuff, right? WFH. So that's probably the biggest change. The next thing is really the full removal of on-premise infrastructure and
So crazy.
and dealing with this. I thought maybe a year ago that we could lose customers because if Microsoft does it right, it could be easy enough for someone who's non-technical to do it. No, it's they put together a terrible product and everyone has to use it. So that's really the next thing.
I miss the days when we had CDs. You just put them in a file cabinet with a lock on it, and then you got another computer, just downloaded a few CDs.
You get the
some
Sharpie
programs.
marker, Office 03, Disk 1.
We need to add some. Oh, you don't have Microsoft here? Just put the CD
So
in real
old
quick,
school.
download it real
Double
quick.
click the executable. There's a README.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I looked at this the other day, but like what year do you guys think the iPhone came out?
It was probably
just saw this the other
2000.
day.
It's probably 2006 or something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
2007. Yeah, I mean, so it's literally been. Think about what you used your phones for today, and how integral they are to your functioning as a business and in your personal life, especially Grindr. And so. It's only been 15 years since, which seems like a long time. It's been 15 years since the current iteration of
It does seem
phones
like a
came out.
long time ago. Especially
does.
like when you pull out your phone, it almost looks like the iPhone 1. You're like, wow, that is an old phone. It's been a long time coming.
What fun do you have?
Yeah. So it's interesting to see what the next, I feel like the technology is pretty stagnant right now on the
He's got
phone.
a little guy. He's trying to
Oh
avoid
yeah,
it.
it's
He's trying
it's pretty new.
Oh, that's fair.
It's new.
I like that size though. That size was good.
Yeah. It's
See, he's got the big one. He's got the mega.
No, I don't. Mine's not the plus.
I got
It's
the
the mini
mini one.
iPad. They're the same damn size.
Oh shit. Okay.
I mean, mine just always looks bigger.
Grinder. Dude, this has been awesome, man. I'm actually really stoked he came on. He told me IT's guy's coming on. I'm like,
He's like boring.
I don't know.
I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep over here. No, but this was actually really awesome.
It was really cool.
Relevant. You guys are a business, right?
Yeah,
So
we are.
It can be a little
and
relevant.
everyone that listens to us are all majority business owners, so it works out really good.
So here's the next question. Cars are becoming more like computers every single day. How are you going to protect us from cars? How are you going
From
to keep my car
cars?
from getting hacked? Or if my car gets hacked, how are you going to restore it back to its original settings?
Call Tesla. I don't care.
Call Elon.
Call
Elon
Elon.
will take care of ya.
Yeah, call. I don't know. I don't know. You're totally. I mean, it's completely proprietary.
Yeah.
There's just, they would never give us a password for anything.
No,
So-
they
Okay,
wouldn't.
so like my wife and I, like we're totally against having, cameras inside our house, right? For whatever. I mean, not that we do a bunch of weird shit or anything like.
Yeah.
But like how are we exposed to being hacked? Like all of our cameras and our Ring cameras and all the electronics in the homes. I mean, would you say that there's a lot of vulnerability there for us as humans?
Yeah, I don't know if you want the short answer or the long answer.
Just start with one, and if it gets too long, we'll shut you down.
Okay, thank you.
Just go short.
My wife will appreciate it when I make her listen to the whole thing. I would say that we're clearly in an age where you can't drop a nuclear bomb on a city, and so the best way to have foreign influence is via information.
Yeah.
And so governments with lots of money have lots of budget, and it would behoove them, if they want to secure their influence, that they have easy access to information and to manipulating information in other countries. So where does every chip get manufactured?
Yeah, China.
It's China.
Yeah.
Where's iPhone City at? And like, what's to say that, there's how many, 100,000 transistors in your phone, right? Or whatever the number is in the processing parts. I mean, there can be so many vulnerabilities. I mean, it's connected to the internet all the time. What's to say that there's not some unknown vulnerability everywhere? And I think that AI, what AI does a really great job at is exactly that, is brute forcing and checking for vulnerabilities. So I would honestly be surprised if, people don't have access to a lot of parts of your life that you don't know about.
Right, huh? I guess you're probably vulnerable in all aspects, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
there's cameras everywhere now.
and who makes the chips for the cameras?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And you can kind of track this stuff. You can kind of track it if you have a relatively sophisticated network. You can like look at the traffic and be like, I don't know, like why did this
Get
traffic
seen.
byte go here? But what happens now is it just goes out to Microsoft. So you have Windows 11 and back when Windows XP was around, like Sean's computer from a lot of years ago,
Windows 95.
you'd install it and there would be 43 processes running. I remember this. You could look at it. It would start. It would be like 43 processes on Windows XP. You get Windows 7 came out and all of a sudden it goes from 43 to like 75. And you're like, what else is like, there's 75 things happening on your computer right now. Well, what are they? And you still had some control over it. And then Windows 8, that sucked. 8.1, even worse. And Windows 10 came out. And by default, when you install a new Windows 10 computer, there are maybe like 170 processes happening, things happening at any given moment.
Wow.
Windows 11 comes out and it's over 200 baseline when you install your computer. There are 200 things happening on your computer, and I bet you couldn't name 3 of them.
Wow.
So who controls those processes? It's software talking to software. If you look at your network stats, there's just a pile of information being shipped out to Microsoft. And you know what it is. It's all encrypted, and there can be backdoors in the software or the hardware.
Well, so my theory is I have an old computer. All the people that were available to hack that at that time have now retired, and all the new people haven't taken the time to really go far that back because not enough people have it. So I feel like I'm safe.
Well, I think all the major security systems for the DoD, these really big, like the stock market runs off of COBOL and these technologies that came out 60 years ago. So,
Well, that's awesome. So I guess in short, if somebody does want to reach out to your business for hopefully security,
yeah.
IT, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Sure, yeah. Just go to our website. It's lenitytech.com. So LENITY tech, TECH.com.
Well, is that where you're also going to post the time your band's going to get back together for the little reunion tour?
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, I'd love it. I mean, I'll put some bagpipe videos
There
for the...
better be bagpipe
Yeah.
videos in there. Yeah. Your intro video will actually be you on the bagpipe. I'm just saying on your website.
I feel like I might it's a lot to swallow. I got a persona. I got to look nerdy. I don't know. It might be.
It might be too cool, actually. Yeah,
And
you're
right,
right.
I'm a skinny white boy. I kind of,
Hey, if you ever
me in
need
a kilt.
if you need a music video, man,
Oh,
let
do
me
you have
know.
to wear the kilt if you're playing the bagpipes?
feel like-
If you're
yeah.
practicing, is it like part of it? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to put it on no matter what.
The plaid colors, actually, you insert the plaid kilt into the bagpipe, or it doesn't work well. Yeah.
So you're plugging it in. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm into computers because I don't want to go to jail. I heard I'd be popular in jail one time, so I
Makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
stay
rather
safe
just
with
do
computers. Yeah,
do things.
Hackers do go to jail too, though.
Yeah. Well, good thing I don't hack anything.
Hey,
Yeah.
good thing.
I'm on the good side of it.
Yeah, he's the opposite of the hacker.
Oh, epic, you guys. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on, man. We
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
It was awesome.
We'll drop his website down below in the description. So if you guys need anything, he'll take care of
do
you
you
guys.
guys have an Instagram?
No.
Perfect. Didn't think so.
I didn't think so. So you post some really interesting stuff up there.
Yeah, I mean, you can find us on LinkedIn, but social
Website.
media plus business hasn't been too good on the marketing side. so.
Yeah. Oh, man. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the Lambo and Leroy Show. Follow Lambo and Leroy on Instagram. Yeah, that's all we got. We only got Instagram.
That's it.
That's it. We're out.
Great.
See you
Pleasure.
guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Whoa. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got 'em picking up the pieces.